Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to perfectly crop a t-shirt. My goal is to start integrating shorter videos like these into my weekly uploads, so just let me know down in the comments what you think the next one should be. And with all that being said, let's jump right into it. So before you start anything, you're going to need a few things. You're going to want an actual instrument to cut the garment with when the time comes, so that could be a pair of scissors. If you're going to use a pair of scissors, I would recommend a pair of fabric scissors, as they're meant to cut fabric and other scissors might be a little bit choppier. If you don't go with a pair of scissors though, I would recommend something like this. I just call it a roller. Instead of sitting there with scissors having to try and cut on a line, you can basically just sweep it in one go. Next up, you're going to want some type of marking device. So this could be chalk, this could be tape, this could also just be a pen or a white pencil. It doesn't really matter what you mark the garment with, because ideally you're going to be cutting it off anyway. So feel free to just mark with whatever's easiest for you. Now you don't technically need a ruler, but I think it's extremely beneficial, especially when cutting your straight line. I use it as my guideline, but if you trust yourself to do it in a straight line with your eyes, then by all means go for it. You're also going to want a flat surface like I have here. I'm actually cutting on a cutting mat, which is meant for what I'm about to use it for. However, if you're not using one of these and you're just cutting on a normal table, be mindful not to scratch or cut the actual surface that the t-shirt is under. But again, if you have access to a cutting mat, it just makes it a lot easier. Lastly, you might end up wanting a reference t-shirt. That way you can just measure it to the tee that you want the length of. If you don't have a reference tee though, you could just eye it, which I'll show you how I eye it, as well as just a measurement. You guys can just use a ruler and measure the exact length that you want to cut to. So if I'm going to make my cut based off of just the eye, what I'll do is throw the t-shirt on and basically just find out where my pant line is and where my belt would sit, or where my pants are usually going to sit, and I'll just hold that placement until I can actually mark it with something. I'll take the t-shirt off and use my measurement that way. However, because I have a t-shirt, all I'm going to do is just lay that t-shirt directly over the t-shirt that I'm cutting. And you want to make sure that tee is laid completely flat. That way you're accounting for the complete length of it. And after that, you'll get a pretty rough look at where you want to be cutting. You also want to allow for a bit of tolerance. When you are raw cutting a shirt, it's going to naturally slightly roll up over time. Very similar to the one that I have on right now. You guys can see it has a very slight roll. So accounting for that, I'm going to make my mark just slightly under where this other t-shirt falls on top of it. And now that I have that mark, I can take my ruler and I could either take this line and draw it all the way across, or I could just, again, use the ruler as my guideline to make the cut. I have two examples for you guys today, so I'm going to use the scissors in the next one. I'm going to show you guys though how easy this is with the roller. Boom, just like that. So after my cut's made, immediately you'll see that roll kind of happen. And I'll basically just stretch the tee out like this, let the roll kind of naturally do its fold. And then because I just exposed the material and it's no longer finished, it is gonna shed. So I'll just give it a couple of quick shakes. And after I wash and dry this for the first time, it should pretty much just never do that again. But now, as you can see, I have the t-shirt cropped to the length that I want it. It honestly just brings new life to a piece that's been in my closet for many years now. And I feel like I'll actually start wearing this one more. Not to mention the graphic on this one's pretty crazy. Shout out to my homie Blake and Sinners Now Saints. So I have this vintage No Fear tank here, and we're going to, again, do the same thing using the other steps of the process. So again, I have my reference right here. This is the shirt I was just wearing, and I want the one I'm cutting to end up a little longer than this one right here. So it's measuring at 23.5, so we'll cut this one to 24. So now that my markings are made, what I'm going to do is fold this shirt in half. And in doing so, I'm going to find the point where the two lines meet. And because I'm doing this with scissors, I'm just going to do my best to cut straight across. And the main goal here is just to keep tension in the shirt as you're cutting. Tank tops I always go a little shorter on, just because I think you can get away with the look a little bit more because it is a tank top. And I'm most likely just going to work out in this piece anyway. However, if I do end up wanting to wear it out, I still think that it came out really sick and will look fine. So there's a look at how I crop all of my t-shirts. Let me know if you guys took anything away from this video. If you did, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, let me know what the next tutorial should be, and I'll see you guys in the next one.